That is our cue. What's going on, everybody? Brett Lawson, and of course, making her debut on the other side of the camera, the phenomenal Raquel, who apparently literally like about 30 seconds before we came on live with you guys, has a new nickname now, if I'm correct?
Furry godmother. Yes,
a furry godmother, and a furry godmother who makes damn good coffee, and it's probably a fitting attribute to have if you're going to be down here at the Arts District for First Friday. Of course, if you hear and probably see behind us right now, we got DJ Jen Siren. I think we may have scotch tape on the button. But it's all good because we're rolling with the punches here. It's been a blast so far. Everything going on First Friday at the Arts District. And Raquel, you guys were here for the setup of it all. I just moseyed on in because I have the easy job. I'm walking around holding a microphone, talking and letting other people talk. You had to set a lot of this up. And again, we're kind of in the formative stages of Go Live Vegas' presence here at the Arts District for First Friday. But as someone who was involved in the setup of it all, how happy are you to be here for such a big event like this in Las Vegas?
I am enjoying the weather.
Yeah, we've been lucky.
That's all I have to say. I'm enjoying the weather.
It's a good contribution.
You told me to hold it. How do you want me to hold this?
She's learning on the fly, baby. That's how we do it.
How would you like me to hold it?
She normally trains the people, and now, what is it, those who can't do teach? Are we having one of those moments? One of those moments right now?
Yes, I'm very professional.
But it's all good because what's fun about events like this is you can actually kind of put down that wall of professionalism because, you're still going to be a professional in the fact of how you promote your business and how you plug what you have going on, whether it be your art, your merchandise, your music. Yeah, you're always going to have that professional aspect, but there's a casual element, Raquel. You can put your guard down. I mentioned this when we were walking around with the coffee just moments ago. There's an element of intimacy and casual connection and community that you get with people, even really when you don't in your day-to-day ebbs and flows of life. Let's be real, when you're driving around in town a lot of times, the mindset's negative. When you bump into someone at the grocery store, the mindset's negative. When you're down here, there is no negativity at all. And when you see the interaction between everybody and just the overall, I know energy is a word that's thrown around a lot in this day and age, but you see the energy here, there's a buzz, and it's pulsating, and it's cool because it truly feels like everyone, despite being so unique in their own way, is kind of all here for the same purpose, and that's really to tap in to the local Vegas culture.
We've been talking about coming down here for, 4 years now?
Yeah.
And this is the first time that we've actually made it down here, and not only made it down here to visit, but we're here working, which is amazing. The people that we've met have been fantastic.
Yeah.
The artwork that they're creating on the other side of this wall over here, you have to come and see. Everywhere down in the Arts District, there are murals that grab yourself a to-go cup of coffee and take a stroll, walk around the Arts District, and just take a look. The artists in this place are absolutely amazing.
And that's really the highlight, because anytime you come to downtown Las Vegas, that element of community I just mentioned that you kind of elaborated upon, that's always going to be there, but you get it here in a way. You just don't see it in other parts of town. Even in other parts of downtown Vegas, just 5 minutes around the corner from where we are right now. The Arts District is special because, again, you've heard me say it a couple times tonight on the broadcast, it's about a showcasing of talent. Like you said, their work is amazing. And it would be amazing if we were here, Raquel, watching it, I guess you could say with the benefit of hindsight. We saw the completed project. Getting to walk behind these guys as they complete it adds a whole new element to it. It makes it so much more gratifying, and it makes it so much more compelling, and it gives you a greater appreciation for what they bring to the table as artists, and on top of it, local artists.
Yeah. And then there's the shops.
Yeah.
And then there's the food. And the food, if you haven't come down to eat in the Arts District, you really do need to. There are breweries with specialty IPAs that are only brewed here. There are restaurants from all over the world. There are stores, and every store here in the Arts District is locally owned. So come down, do your Christmas shopping, your Hanukkah shopping, your birthday shopping, whatever you need to do. Come down here and support local. This is where Las Vegas thrives, is down here. And honestly, it doesn't matter where you live in the city. Come down here on a First Friday. This place is amazing.
Yeah, you could
the
watch.
Energy.
Yeah, absolutely. You could watch all you want on Go Live Vegas, and if you are, we really appreciate it because let's be real. Sometimes you just can't make it out. But the beauty about this isn't an annual event. This is a monthly event. So if you're missing it right now and you know you can't make it out for the November 1st edition, just wait a month and you could come right back out, and it's only going to get bigger and better because there's always something new. There's always something fresh, and there's always something trendy. And I know, sometimes you hear that word and you kind of scoff at it because what really is trendy? If you want to know what trendy is, all you have to do is come down to downtown Las Vegas. You get the true Vegas experience in ways that you can never get it with the glitz and the glam of the Strip. That is all fine and dandy, but if you want to know what it's like from the standpoint of a local, to get that local's perspective, even if you're just out here visiting, even if you're a transplant who recently moved out here, this is where you want to come to get that exact vibe.
Yep. That's true. And you went over to the coffee.
Yeah.
The coffee truck is right there. I can see it.
Mm-hmm. And they're already doing great business. We talked to EJ and Andrea, great people. Risque Latte is a great name. It looks as if it's just any other coffee, truck, any other, beverage type of truck as far as when you are just kind of casually walking around it. But then when you get a little closer and you realize how much fun the patrons are having, how much fun EJ and Andrea are having serving them, and you realize what they intend to do with this coffee vendor, with this coffee truck, there's an element of inspiration to it because it shows Vegas has so many different people from so many walks of life, as does any city, and I get that, that's fair. But Vegas has always been so unique, and that trickles down to people just like us. And of course, we work in the media, doing everything here with Go Live Vegas, and we kind of like to dabble in that entertainment sphere that's so well known in Vegas. But you also get to meet and interact with people who dabble in so many different other spheres. And again, EJ and Andrea are a great example of that. She even said she's Pacific Northwest transplant, right? Coffee, your neck of the woods, you're way, way up in the Northwest, right? Obviously.
It's still Northwest.
It is. It 100%
still
is.
Pacific
You're
Northwest.
1,000%
I know
right.
my coffee.
You're 1,000% right.
I know my coffee.
To the point.
Tim Hortons.
It's and I feel look at the Pacific Northwest, there's compartments of it. People in Portland, Oregon, it's a different Pacific Northwest than people in British Columbia. It's as simple as that.
It is and it isn't.
Right. Because it's kind of like Vegas in a way. It's interesting you say that because everything is so unique in a way, but you could kind of line them all up under the same umbrella, and there's parallels as well.
There's rain. Rain.
A lot of that.
And rain.
Yeah.
And coffee.
Yeah. And they do it well, and what's so cool is that exact vibe, because that's how it is. And once you get up,
that's why you drink the coffee, because of the rain, the rain, and the rain.
They're from water, exactly. You need something to keep you going, right? They're from Washington State, and she brought that exact mentality of coffee being so important to the day, the ebbs and flows, and the daily, the daily minutia of life. But they put the Vegas spin on it. That's why when you walk by the truck, you may not notice it. When you get up to the window, you'll see that these are true Las Vegans, despite their background being rooted in the Pacific Northwest. And Andrea said it the best. She wants to bring the hot girl Vegas element, or bring the Pacific Northwest coffee element, and combine it with that hot girl Vegas element, because Vegas gives you a chance to do just that. And of course, what EJ said as well is so particularly interesting, because it's almost like a mantra at this point, right, where it sounds cliche, but it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. That may be the case really anywhere if you really break it down, but nowhere is it more prominent than in Vegas, because we know it. Literally just before we even went on air, just setting up here for everything with Go Live Vegas, the networking you could do, the relationships, the connections, how you can affiliate, and how you could branch out and promote yourself. It's almost like it's teed up perfectly for people who do what we do and then some. Because if you're watching, you think, well, I'm not involved in broadcasting or podcasting, but are you involved in art? Are you involved in music like DJ, our new favorite DJ, Jen Siren, and some of the other performers we have out here? Are you involved in different types of clothing and apparel and merchandising and showcasing your own business and highlighting your own talents? It gives you an opportunity to do just that. And it's the first of every month, but the day after Halloween, no less. This town's still reeling from what happened last night. I know everywhere people are kind of reeling from what happened last night. It wasn't a weekend Halloween, but it was a Halloween that led into the weekend. So to have a first Friday right after, I mean, that's what the doctor ordered, right?
Did you go trick-or-treating?
I did, but not enough lights were on the house, in the neighborhoods. Not enough lights were on the houses in my neighborhood, so I had to wrap it up early. The pillowcase did not get very full this year. That's actually great. I feel there's like a universal cutoff. It may not be universal as far as the exact age, but there's like a universal range.
For trick-or-treating?
No, for Santa. That's like
for Santa. How do we go from Halloween to Santa?
I'm getting there. This is what you call teeing it up. See?
Okay.
See, she's getting it on this side of the camera. This is what you call a segue, right?
Is that what it is? Thank you.
It's a holiday-themed segue. No,
mansplaining is what that is.
That's exactly true. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
I appreciate
it. And the comments are blowing up too.
Okay.
It's broadcast splaining. I just happen to be a man doing it.
Okay.
If Barbara Walters was here, she may she rest in peace. But it's just so funny because there's like a universal, I feel, range for when you stop believing in Santa. The cutoff for trick or treating is all over the place. I feel Santa is usually never earlier than. Unless you got it spoiled for you or your parents just didn't give a fuck. But I feel like the cutoff for Santa is in like the 10 to maybe 9 to 11 range. Is that fair? Where trick-or-treating, it goes all over the place.
I still believe in Santa.
Now I just feel like a monster. I mansplained and just basically told Raquel that Santa doesn't exist in her face. She's never co-hosting with me again.
I can't.
But see, this is why she's so good behind the camera, because she can keep her composure like this. She's done this to me before in the past, in the Go Live Vegas studio. But when we're just spitballing.
I think it's honestly around what 10.
9 to 11, like a 10. Yeah, like that's a good range.
Unless there's some mean little kid in school that
spoils it,
ruins it for you at the age of 6.
And we hate that. That's like the worst thing.
That's just not okay.
Yeah, that's like the worst thing ever. But I feel like trick or treating, there's all different kinds of logic and reasoning that plays into it, right? Like, some people say, oh, you're never too old for free candy. Some people say, oh, it's a way to grasp onto my childhood. You see some stuff on social media about people saying, oh, well, at least they're not out egging houses and getting drunk and, causing ruckus and trouble. I mean, let's be real. They're also doing that, too. It's Halloween. It wouldn't be Halloween without it. But, I mean, God forbid a couple of 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds show up to the door with sacks or, their little jack-o'-lanterns asking for candy. Is your night really ruined? Like, is it any different than the 6-year-old who rang on your doorbell asking for candy? It really isn't.
No. But what irritates me is when
they don't dress up
on the door. No, they knock on the door when the lights are off.
Yes.
We had that last night because we had to go out and we had to work, and we had the lights off right before we left, and the doorbell rang. And it was like that scramble, to hit the ground and like below the window so they couldn't see you. And you're on the ground, and I'm yelling to everybody in the house, don't answer the door, don't answer the door.
Make sure the cats are quiet, the dogs are quiet,
everybody in the house freezes.
Yeah. It's like when when a solicitor knows you're home.
And they keep doing it. They keep running. It's like, I can see you. It's like no.
It's like when a solicitor knows you're home, or like you're going to work or going to the store, and you walk out your garage door and you look around the corner and the solicitor's at your front door. You're like, well, damn, what do I do now? So no, I'm totally with you. When the lights are off, game over, party's over, and wear a damn costume. Like, the fun of Halloween is just that. You know what I'm saying? It's like whether it's to scare someone or not. But I also find this particularly interesting about it because it's funny how people's definition of like what Halloween is supposed to be also changes, because I feel like Halloween means something different depending on the age, right? Christmas, you kind of, even though there's the presents on Christmas morning with Santa and Easter egg hunts on Easter if you celebrate that, like, it still kind of always is the same. You just kind of modify it. Halloween literally changes. Like, the Halloween from when you're a kid is different from when you're a teenager, and then it's different from when you're a young adult, and then it's different when you're handing out candy as an adult. It's almost like the most evergreen holiday throughout your life, because you could find, even if you're old, you could find fun in the fact you could get drunk and dress up.
I don't dress up.
Interesting.
I don't.
You've never been big into the costumes?
No.
Explain. I'm dead curious now. I get it, because I haven't dressed up in years. Except for last night, with the trick-or-treating.
I just wasn't raised with Halloween that way.
Yeah, I feel you.
We trick-or-treated, but because my parents are not from, they're not from North America and they're immigrants, they didn't do Halloween
the same way.
And they're from Australia, and they don't do Halloween in Australia. They do now.
Yeah. After some time.
Pretty sure they do now, and they trick or treat and everything that we do here in Australia. But when I was growing up, they didn't. So my parents, I don't think they weren't into it like most people are.
Right.
So we would do the costumes, but then I was also raised in a very small town, and we would go down to the fire hall, and everyone in the town would gather at the fire hall, and we would have a big bonfire. And there was candy, and there was hot chocolate, and there was a costume contest and things like that. So that's what I was used to, but not the trick or treating. And then when I had kids, we did the trick or treating with the kids, but it was so cold.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was cold.
And we're lucky. Even if it's a particularly cold October, it's never that cold being in Las Vegas. So we've always had the benefit of, even if it's a chillier Halloween, you could usually make it through the trick-or-treating if you're a parent.
We had to do costumes. You had to buy them extra big.
Right. For the installation.
Because they'd have to fit over your snowsuit.
I love it.
But then in South Texas,
sure that they do it for a holiday in this case,
a barbecue
exactly.
Is a barbecue.
If the sun comes
another
up,
excuse for
they'll
a barbecue.
And I mean that in the most complimentary way imaginable.
Yeah.
Any Texan watching this right now is nodding their head in agreement and patting themselves on the back because you do it as well as anybody else. But we could do a whole 3-hour podcast on barbecue.
On barbecue.
I'm not even a barbecue snob, and even I have some opinions. So no, I'm totally with you. But I actually want to get your opinion on this, Raquel, because we'll keep it festive because we're in the holidays, right? Halloween's in the rearview mirror, and of course, we know now what's to come on the horizon. And I asked you this in particular because I saw you post this on social media today. Raquel is one of those November 1st types. It's time to break out the tree. It's time to break out the carols. It's time to break out the decorations. And I'm not judging you. I'm just saying this is becoming more and more popular.
Okay.
And I'm okay with it. When I was a kid, I felt this was way more rare. I feel people are Are we like expediting the holidays, the process?
In my defense, I always waited until American Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And then so I would get up and I would watch the Macy's Day Parade, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
And Santa comes on as like the ushering.
And as soon as Santa came on, that was the cue.
Completely with you.
We're good.
Completely with you.
But as my kids got older, I started decorating earlier and earlier. And for us, there are different reasons for it, but it's mostly because we don't have family here. So I had to create something a little bit more for my kids because I felt like I had to make up for the grandparents weren't here, the cousins weren't here, the aunts, the uncles, they weren't here.
And maybe not the best word to use because it kind of sounds flippant, but in a way you compensated for the lack thereof earlier, but not compensating the fact that it's like disingenuous and you're just throwing it out there to make yourself feel better.
No.
You're doing it because you want it to be a family experience, and that's why I appreciate it.
Well, it takes so long because if you've ever seen any of my posts, my house gets transformed completely.
It's a process.
I take down everything off the walls. I take all of the cushions off of, like the pillows off the couches. I take the blankets out. I wash everything. I put everything away.
Right.
And everything gets replaced with Christmas. Well, and Hanukkah, because we do both.
Yep.
So it's a little bit extra. And this year is both on Christmas Day. But in my defense, this year, I have another new kitten who needs to be tree trained. And I don't know if you've ever tree trained a kitten.
I have not.
But it is not an easy thing to do.
See, now
you have to have the trees out. What trees? I say trees multiple. Most people only have one, so they just put one up and call it a day. I have...
Oh my God, you know it's a lot when you have to stop and think. I love this though because like this is me. This is my way of getting the humble pie.
1, 2, 3. Wait. 1, 2,
I'm getting schooled up on how to decorate for Christmas right now, so I need this.
I have one in the kitchen. The kids have their own tree, so they don't touch mine. They can do. Now we have a rule. They've done this when they were very, very small, and they got to do it with their grandparents when they came in, and when they came into town. They have their own tree. They get to decorate their own tree, and they don't touch mine.
That's mama's.
But the rule is, I'm not allowed to fix their tree.
So the
older they get, Rory, the more interesting their tree becomes.
Liberations, huh?
And sometimes it's a little bit risque.
Creative liberties, right?
And I sit there and you have no idea how hard it is for me not to fix it because sock monkeys are doing things they shouldn't be doing on a Christmas tree. And I'm not allowed to fix it.
Motherly censorship.
I'm not allowed to fix it, so I just have to
cannot
watch.
Approach.
So that's our big night for us is sitting down, and Aaron and I will sit down and we'll have a Bailey's or something like that, and the kids who are in their 20s now will decorate their tree, and we have to watch and not touch, which is very hard. But back to the kitten. So far, I've had the tree. I've had my trees out, and I have 11.
I'm blown away.
I know. Well, we keep moving houses, and
they stack
they're different. Houses are different sizes every
100%.
time we move, and this one's a smaller house, so
there's carryover.
I don't know what to put out and what to keep in storage, so I just put everything out. I like it, doesn't matter. So the kitten keeps going halfway up and running at it. And of course it goes every time. Every time. So far 3 times. You hear a crash in the middle of the night. Now, I don't have any decorations on it, so it's not so bad. But it does take a while to get them to stop doing that. Otherwise, you're going to decorate your tree, and the tree is going to crash. And I have decorations from all over the world.
Right. I've seen them.
And it costs a lot of money to replace these things.
Yeah.
So I have to tree train the cat.
And I love it because this is like a total 101. Now I'm the one being taken to school because
It's
I mean,
it's not an easy thing to do.
Not at all. And you have that type of experience, and this is the point of the show.
I have to stop getting cats. That's what I have to do.
It's like it's really a reflection of the problem, right?
I'm a sucker for a rescue. I can't.
But that brings
I can't say no.
And I don't blame you. But that brings me to the next point because we're now at the part of the show where you don't even need me anymore. We're talking coffee. We're talking Christmas. We're talking cats. That's a triple C for Raquel. That she is very, very knowledgeable and
but we haven't talked
informative
about
expert.
Tink.
I was just about to say, but that brings me to my next point because you doing this with me in many ways, maybe not your first official debut in front of the camera for Go Live Vegas, but at least in terms of the co-hosting aspect. So I wanted to ask you about that. We'll get to Tink in a moment because this kind of tees it up.
Yep.
But you now doing this, and again, you all just saw right there, going off on a coffee and cats and Christmas. This is the way I do about sports and everything else under the sun that at least I feel like talking about in front of you guys. You can do the same type of thing for things in your wheelhouse, and the audience kind of just got a glimpse of it there. So let me ask you, even though there's still some, moving pieces about your show and your podcast on the Go Live Vegas platform, what has the process been like for you? And it's still ongoing, it's not complete.
No.
But what has the process been like for you from transitioning from behind the camera to the other side of the camera, going from producer to host?
To doing a podcast?
Or at least in terms of preparing for the one that you plan to unveil here soon.
Oh, I'm not preparing anything.
Really? You're just winging it.
Wing it.
This is perfect. Because sometimes you just
kidding.
Sometimes, you know what though?
Kidding.
You know what though? Sometimes you just gotta say screw it and do it. And don't get me wrong. I'm sure you'll prepare in terms of the actual content, but you can't really rehearse this stuff. You just can't. You can go through a rough draft of it, if you will, like a rough outline, I guess you could say, like a run-through, a walkthrough, if you will. You could go through, and to use a sports term, you could do a nice little walkthrough practice, but you can't just go in every day and say, all right, I'm going to rehearse as if it's a, a recital or if it's some type of play or anything like that. You just got to get up on camera or get up on a microphone and do it, and you're getting ready to do just that. We got Andre. Oh, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. People, that's what we're hoping for from Andrea. We appreciate you tuning in, and of course, anyone else who's tuning in. We appreciate everyone down here. We're trying to get as many people as we can down here, but if you can't, this is our way of reaching out to you. That's Andrea from Risque Lattes. We talked to her, and once I saw that name, I had a feeling it may be. But again, that's what it's all about. It's about the networking and the connection. Her and EJ were tremendous. The explanation of not only what they plan to do with their coffee, but what it means to them and what it means to the Vegas culture. Like, those are the stories that we're down here for. But going off of what we're talking about, those are the stories that make us want to do this. So, like you said, you are going to wing it, and you kind of just going to go out there and show.
When I'm on the air, I will wing it.
Yes, but as far as you getting to the point where you're actually on the air, how has that process been? Even if it's just you sitting on your couch going through notes or something, like, what's it like?
Well, first of all, we had to come up with a concept, which we did. And Lynn and I, who is going to be my co-host, she lives in Virginia, on the other side of the country. So we kind of needed Erin's expertise on bringing her in and being able to co-host with somebody on the other side of the country is not going to be an easy thing to do. So Erin and I have to go through a lot of logistics.
Yeah.
Lynn had to get ready on her end because she had to go out. She had to buy all the equipment,
to go
unfortunately.
Yeah.
I already have it. I have the studio, so I'm already done with that part. But it started last January when she posted she's going through perimenopause, sorry, and she wanted to talk about it. She wanted to do a show on it because there's a lot of stuff that happens that we are not aware of and nobody prepares you for, and it's a shit show.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. It's seriously, it's a shit show. And you wake up in the morning and you don't know what's going to happen and what new thing is going to happen for you. And she put out a post that said, I want to do a podcast. Does anyone want to co-host with me? And I was the first person to say, hello, Lynn. We've known each other for 14 years. We've been through a lot, even though we're both on different sides of the country.
Right.
We've been through a lot together. We both have 4 kids. We're both around the same age, so we've both gone through different stages. And we want to talk about it. It's a big topic right now. There's a lot of places on TikTok and YouTube and all the social media where women are starting to talk about it because it seems to be a secret. And I don't know why.
And if it's not kept secret, and if it's actually, at least in the past, maybe not even that particular issue, but issues that are similar to it, it's often deemed taboo. And that's what's so cool about podcasting. It gives you opportunities. Even in avenues that TV and radio can't do, you can venture into that.
Well, and so our podcast is going, when I say I'm going to wing it, I mean, I can't really write it like I normally would. I can't prepare for it because I don't know what's going to happen.
I love that, though. It's
next.
candid.
I don't know.
Really?
And I want to be able to be honest about what's going on and what's happening, because if it helps just one person get through their day or get through a hot flash at my expense, I'm totally cool with it. I'm fine with it. I don't care. So it will be very honest. It will be very raw. It's not going to be an informational. So anyone who tunes into my podcast looking for medical information or therapy or something like that, facts and everything else, you're the wrong podcast.
Key disclaimer, though, that's good to put out there.
Wrong podcast.
You're not giving medical advice.
No, I'm not a doctor. Lynn is not a doctor. We are not medical professionals.
You're discussing your experiences with it.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
It's kind of like you prepare your daughters, and in our house we prepared our sons for puberty, both sides. So when their sister is having a day, you know what I mean, she's not in the best mood, or she's going through something, not feeling very well, or I am, my boys know. And they respect it, and they understand it. So for me, if men want to watch the podcast, I'm good with that. And I think they should. Because it's something that men also have to go through with their wives or their girlfriends or their moms or their whoever, their sister, whatever, because menopause is the great equalizer.
And
it doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what your income is.
No one's safe.
It doesn't matter what your job is.
It spares no one.
You cannot get away from it. It's going to happen.
It spares no one. And that's why I like that you bring that up in the sense that you kind of are emphasizing that while we won't be giving you doctoral advice,
we will
still give you honest perspective.
Yep.
So while you may not walk away thinking you just read a medical journal, you also will find insights that may help you along the way.
Absolutely.
Because so often, even though professional medical advice is great, we live in a time where professional medical advice is often, argued against more than ever before.
Google it.
Exactly, right. And with Google and I mean, it all started with WebMD. Once WebMD came about, everyone became a doctor.
That's true.
Like they did. And then it just escalated from there. So it's understandable to think that, we're not going to pass off in being that because that's unethical. But at the same time, you can't act that people don't gain insights from shared experiences and people don't find connection through shared perspectives. And that's really what it's all about. Much like we have here going out of First Friday, it's about the element of connectivity and community. That seems like what you want to be able to do with your content and your show.
We're going to be bringing in diversity and honesty. Because it doesn't matter.
Unfiltered.
It's going to hit everybody.
It's the inevitability.
It's going to happen.
The great inevitability.
Sorry, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it will happen.
Well, it's important to say because even if it doesn't happen to you, it's going to happen to someone you know, and you will somehow be affected.
As a man,
yes,
you should watch my podcast because if it doesn't happen to you, it will happen to somebody you know.
Fellas, we're all
and it's
not to cut you off.
It's true.
Not to cut you off, but let's be real, fellas. She's so spot on. We're all looking for those insights. Every single man wants a cheat code, whether he thinks he has it all figured out or not. So if anything, her podcast may be a godsend for even us too, and we're not even going through it. So it's so awesome to hear about Raquel.
It will be done with humor. Both Lynn and I have the same sense of humor, so I guarantee you it will not be serious. It will be just, like I said, a total shit show. It will.
I love how that is an endorsement, a plug, and a full-blown basically just like, it's a guarantee.
Sorry,
really.
Mom.
It's a guarantee and it's a promise, and I absolutely love that because it shows conviction, it shows passion, and it shows purpose. And we like to think that everything we do here at Go Live Vegas has purpose. All the numerous shows we've had in studio, now we're doing more with remotes, they all seem to be so different from each other. All various, spots under the sun in terms of that, that content umbrella. You never really know what you're going to find on our airwaves, but the common thread is that there's a purpose of help. Even on like on my show, when I give a pick out, I'm hoping you win money. Like I am hoping I am benefiting you somehow. We here at Go Live Vegas want to entertain. We want to brighten up your day in any way, shape, or form we can. But we also want you walking away with something, and that's why we like sharing events like this. It's not just about sitting on your couch and thinking, oh, that's a nice piece of art, or oh, that coffee or taco truck looks really good. It's about garnering a level of appreciation that may have already been there, but just fulfilling it out and fleshing out even more. And that's why it's so cool to hear you say that you have a plan of attack. In terms of, before we wrap things up here, in terms of the podcast itself, I don't mean to put you on blast, but here we are, we're kind of in the back, we are in the back end of 2024. Do you have kind of a rough estimate of when we're going to see it, or is it kind of one of those things that just stay tuned in 2025?
We thought we did. Unfortunately, Lynn has had a loss in her family, and so it's been put on hold. Before that, I was going through a few things, so we put it on hold. Before that, it was another member of her family, so we put it on hold. So we basically just have to make sure that, because we both come from big families, we need our families to cooperate.
Work with us here.
And just stop so that we can get on with this. And because I'd like to get some sponsors, and I can't do that if I don't know when it's going to happen. So far, we have everything ready to go. So it's just a matter of timing at this point. We have our logo. We have everything ready. It's just
the foundation is there. You got to get out of the blocks. We just have this last hurdle to get through. Good. And I'm gonna let Lynn have her time. She needs to get through this. Absolutely.
And it will all depend on how she feels, because I'm ready to go. And in the meantime, we're here.
There you go. And it's a good way, like something like this is a good way for you kind of just to further prep yourself. Obviously, you're familiar with it as being in the industry for so long. It's not like seeing hosts or seeing anchors.
I've never done this before.
Exactly. Seeing any type of broadcaster isn't unfamiliar to you, but it's a reversal of roles. And that's exciting because it shows that at Go Live Vegas, you know, we have people who are jacks of all trades. Maybe Rory, who's been behind the camera here tonight. Maybe we'll see him on the camera. Maybe the patriarch of it all, Aaron Ellikis, we will see in front of the camera. Who knows? We like to wear multiple hats here at Go Live Vegas. But ultimately, Raquel, she's deeply rooted in the behind-the-scenes aspect, and you always will be. But
I prefer behind the scenes,
and that's why it's cool for you to break out, because this isn't necessarily this huge shifting of careers for you. It's you being able to dabble into something else while still doing what you love here at Go Live Vegas. And so much of what you love at Go Live Vegas isn't even doing things or helping the network while we're on air. Because if you look behind us, this is the official unveiling, the official debut, at least in terms of the live remotes of Tink. We call her Tink. I'm going to throw to Raquel here to explain it all to you.
Why do we call her Tink?
This is her baby. She's going to enlighten you, and that's why I want to kind of just emphasize this to close things out, because Raquel, she's going to be making her on-air debut as far as a full-time host in the near future, but you just heard her say she prides herself in being behind the scenes. Perhaps her greatest accomplishment, both her and Aaron, one of their greatest accomplishments behind the scenes while shows aren't actually on air, maybe this fella or this lady behind us right now. So, Raquel, the mic is yours. Please let the audience know, because for those tuning in to our First Friday coverage, and for those of you who are going to be tuning in more and more to our remote coverage in various spots throughout town, you're going to be seeing a whole lot more of her.
Tink started maybe 2 years ago, I think, with this in mind. This is what I don't remember exactly how I thought of it, but I believe it was at lunch with Aaron and my mother-in-law, and we wanted to buy a trailer, but I didn't want a trailer that was big enough for our kids to come with us when we go somewhere. I love my kids, but
no stowaways.
No stowaways. So we came up with this, and we thought, okay, well, we never do anything just for the sake of doing it. There's always a purpose with what we do. And I don't know whether that's because Aaron and I have been in TV for so long or what it is, but there's always, our brains are always working in that way. So when we were looking at trailers, that was in our thought, was, okay, what else can we do with it other than just go camping? And we can use it for camping, but what else can we use it for?
Right.
So that's when we came up with Tink, and we found this baby last year, and she already had all the decals on it, including the fairy. Now, anyone who knows me knows that I do believe in fairies, and anyone who comments that they don't exist, I will never speak to you again.
I love how Santa takes the back seat of
this episode. I don't care.
Santa takes the back seat.
The fairies. We don't mess with the fairies. No. Irish, Celtic, bad things will happen if you mess with the fairies.
And that's fairies. What is F-A-E-R-I-E-S?
Yes, that's not F-A-I-R-Y. It's F-A-E-R-I-E-S.
Gaelic
fairies. The serious fairies.
Yeah.
They will mess with you if you diss them. So she was already on there. And I don't know if maybe later when you take the camera, you can go around to the back of Tink and take a look at what's written on the back. And I believe it says, all we need is love, faith, and a little fairy dust. And that was pretty much that. And what is it, Rory? The thing about bears. Bears, what is it? There's a motto about bears. Anyway, I'll get back to that because I don't remember.
Jump in the comments on the live feed. What are bear-related mantras?
Bears,
we need your help
eating
now.
You.
Anyway,
Something about bears eating you. Anyway, Tink came about because she's on the trailer, and we were going to take her off. But we went camping, and we had little kids coming up to our campsite, and really, really carefully, like coming into our campsite and saying, "Excuse me, do you work for Disney?" And we were like, "I wish, but no, we don't. We don't work for Disney. Why? Why would you ask that?" And so Tinkerbell. So they thought that this was a Disney trailer, which it is not. But we keep the fairy because she got a lot of attention. And that's basically what you want. And then when Steve said that he wanted us to come down and help him out with First Friday, with all the murals that are everywhere here, Tink fits in perfectly.
And you know what? It's so true, too, because...
If I had my phone, I would Google the thing about bears.
Help us out in the comments. But I do love, because if you're looking at it, it looks like something... It looks like something...
About bears?
Yeah, it's going to help, yeah. But we do appreciate that. We appreciate all of you chiming in, all of you
Tracy.
And all
hi,
of you
Matt.
tuning in. And I love how this is something that could be like, it works in like a Disney park. Like you see this at a Disney attraction and it works. But then you also could see this at Woodstock in like the late 60s and it would kind of work too. You know what I mean?
It's kind of, this is me in a trailer form. I think.
They're really the same.
They're
the same object. They split like a couple of years ago, and that's why now you're seeing Raquel more because she came into her full human form, and Tink has to stay behind as an inanimate object. But we're so excited for what's to come with Tink. What would you like as we wrap things up here? What would you like to accomplish? Because you just explained the backstory, the origin story, the name. You told us what you want to do as far as the remote aspect, but how do you want Tink to really? How do you want Tink to separate Go Live Vegas from the pack? What can Tink do? What can she do?
We don't necessarily want to separate her from Go Live Vegas because she is part of Go Live Vegas.
I'm saying, how does Tink help Go Live Vegas separate itself?
You get stagnant if you don't move forward.
Right.
And you can't just stay in 2024. You can't just stay and do one thing. And to have a successful business, you have to be able to move forward with whatever is happening. You have to, and especially in the entertainment business, in whatever field you're in, you have to be able to be creative. You got to think on the fly, and you've got to be able to adapt and move on with whatever trend or whatever else is happening. You got to keep up. So for us, the natural progression of things would be, okay, we've done the studio. We still have the studio. Anyone who wants to book the studio can book the studio. But you can also book Tink. And we now have the capability, as you can see, of doing a remote podcast anywhere we want to.
Case in point.
If you don't want to come to our studio, you don't have to. We can come to you. If you have a quinceañera and you've got family in Mexico who can't be here, Tink can be right beside the food truck, and you can do your own live podcast and talk to family.
Tink doesn't have
anywhere in the world. She doesn't. She likes to go wherever she wants to go. She has no borders.
I love it.
We can't go to Mexico. I mean, we can go to Mexico, but I don't want to go to Mexico. Not now.
Well, yeah, I was going to say.
No.
I was going to say, well, I guess it depends on where, but yeah.
Anywhere, basically anywhere. I mean, anywhere from here to Arizona, anywhere. I mean, anywhere she can go, we'll take her. So that was the next progression, was being able to have our podcast and do this, because as far as I know, nobody else is doing it right now. So there may be people who do it after, but right now, this is the only one that does the remote podcast.
You established a front hold in it,
Yeah.
essentially. And, that's so important to do because media, it's a copycat business. Everything's trendy. Eventually, someone is going to be copying what you're doing, or
Sure.
you're going to copy what they're
And that's
doing.
okay.
And that's how it should be.
That's
because
okay.
only so many people can invent something first, or unveil or unleash something first. So down the road, if you see more Tinks like it, hey, more power to them, all the power to them. But it's not going to be quite like Tink, at least in Las Vegas, because like you said, you're trying to establish that line in the sand type of moment, saying Go Live Vegas may not be the only one to do it in a few years, but we were the first. And even if you want to, whether you say we started the trend, we hopped on the trend, whatever, you won't be able to say we missed out on the trend. And that's what makes Tink so remarkable.
And I can make my coffee.
And it's a damn good one.
I can put whatever I want in my coffee. I can make whatever I need to make, because there is a kitchen in there, believe it or not. So there will be different packages available. We haven't quite figured out what they will be, but it could be like, you know how they used to do when you had a grand opening for somewhere. This is what Aaron always explains. They used to do a remote. The radio stations used to do a remote, and they would say, "Come on down and check out whatever it is they're doing." Well, now we can do the same thing, and we can have coffee, we can have hot chocolate, we can have hot dogs, we can have whatever we want, and you can hire us, and we can help you do your podcast. I don't know if Brett would like to do it for you.
We could talk.
But if it's something like a grand opening for your business, or if you have a monthly business, a monthly networking thing, and you want someone to come in and help you promote it, Brett would love to do that.
Absolutely, and you actually nailed it on the head too. Because think about the broadcasts you watch on television, the radio shows you listen to, the podcasts you check out. If you love it, obviously you're going to love it in the studio. But notice how the episodes, when they're not in the studio, when the hosts, the anchors, the sportscasters, they aren't in the studio. Notice they have the appeal, whether it be a college game day for sports.
More casual.
Right, whether it be the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, if you're an NBC or a major network like that with your news coverage, right? A podcast that's at a local bar that switches it up, where you get fan interaction, you're playing games and doing different kinds of drinking festivities to where people can kind of get in on the fun, and it's not just two talking heads in the studio. That's all fine and dandy, and at the end of the day, most of the time that's what it's going to be. But when you could break out from that and deliver a whole new package, it just separates yourself completely.
Well, plus
that's
we have
exactly
a
what we're
DJ.
trying to do. And exactly, and you've heard her throughout the night, DJ Jen Siren. She's been phenomenal. She's making life easy for us, so that way when we could, rest our pipes and get off this camera for a few minutes and kind of go out and check out everything for ourselves before we jump back on air. DJ Jen Siren has the whole thing taken care of, as she does every Friday night on the Go Live Vegas platform. So check it out, follow on all social media platforms, YouTube page, the Go Live Vegas radio app. Whether you're watching, listening, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching the podcast, it doesn't matter. We want you joined in on all fronts, including fronts like this. So if you're watching, get down here. You still have a few hours left. If not, mark it on the calendar for next month, where we will be doing this again. We want to be a part of the Vegas culture. We're not called Go Live Vegas for nothing. Events like these are what we live for, and your interaction and your participation, we live for that as well. So fun stuff, no doubt.
So people will be able to come down on the first Friday of every month, because we have been now told officially that we will be doing this every first Friday.
And there you go. You heard it here first. Yep.
Who?
Lynn.
Oh, hi, Lynn.
Yes. Hello. This is where we wish we had.
I can't see you. I want to be able to see you.
This is where we wish we had a little monitor in front of us via satellite.
We'll figure that part out.
In due time. We know you're out there in spirit, and we can't wait to get you on the airways with Raquel. That two-way is going to be cool, too, because we haven't really had a show like that. I've had guests on my show.
Coast to coast.
Yes, exactly. And I've had guests on my show, but he's 5 minutes away in Vegas from his home. You guys are going to be opposite sides of the country.
So we're gonna be able to that is the last piece of the puzzle.
Right.
and we need to figure out the logistics of timing, because we kind of want to do it at nighttime, late at nighttime.
But her late is a lot later
than mine.
You always, it's. I love it too, because like there's times where you like text someone, and whether you be that you're further east, or even if you're in Central Time, or if they're further west than you, and it's always after you send the text where you remember, oh shit, they're probably knocked out right now. Or, oh shit, it's really early in the morning right now. You know what I mean? Like, there's always that bitter reminder. But hey, clearly Lynn's awake right now.
I send messages to memes to Lynn at my time, 2 in the morning, and she always gets them. So maybe we could do that. 2 in the morning works for me.
If they could do that,
Lynn, does that work for you?
If they could do it at 2 in the morning, 5 a.m. Eastern time, if they could do that, they could certainly make a podcast work. So stay tuned down the road in the near future, because that will be in the works. Everything with Tink will continue to be in the works, and of course our coverage of First Friday will only grow from here. That about does it for us. We could do this all night, but we want to go explore a little bit more what this has to offer before we officially wrap it up. So stay posted.
What happened to our DJ?
I was gonna say, hopefully Jen Siren.
Did she run away?
I was gonna say, did she give the ultimate mic drop? Because she was killing it. We could use her again. Jen, come relieve us, because that will again about do it for us. Raquel's one last thing you want to say before we wrap things up?
No.
No, it's all like, I've had my fill.
I'm good.
I've had my fill until part 2. Get me out of here. So anyway, thank you all so much.
Well, no, I guess I should say that if you want to check the Go Live Vegas website, we will be putting up information on how you can rent both Brett.
Yes. Book me. Book me.
Brett,
I'm cheap.
DJ Siren,
I'm cheap.
and Tink, and Go Live Vegas all at the same time, or I don't know,
simultaneously,
maybe separately. I don't know.
An extravaganza. There you go.
Maybe separately.
We're just gonna throw. We're gonna have confetti. We're gonna have popcorn. We're gonna have llamas and a petting zoo. We're gonna have it all. Fireworks, the whole deal.
The information will be on Go Live Vegas, and it's golive.com. Go Live Vegas. What is it?
This is where
Go Live. Go Live Vegas. I'm sorry, I'm not the one.
Can we get the graphic on the screen? But anyway,
it's right here. It's right here.
But
isn't that where you put it? Right here?
Yeah.
Usually, if I'm on the other side of the camera, it would be right here. I would be able to point to it, but we're not in the studio, so I can't do that. It is Live.Vegas.
And anywhere you follow us, odds are, if you're watching us right now on social media, it's literally right there. Once you're done watching this feed, you can find all the links in the bios. Everything's available. You can download the Go Live Vegas radio app. There are numerous ways to watch and listen. And remember, everything you watch live is also archived. So fear not, if you miss us in real time, you can always catch us down the road. There are plenty of ways to tune in, and we hope you do just that moving forward. So again, plenty to be excited about. Raquel, thank you so much. We're excited for what's to come with you and Lynn and everything on your end as far as this side of the camera and what you continue to do on behind the camera, everything you continue to do with Tink, everything that Rory and Aaron and everyone else here and the Go Live Vegas family, everything they continue to contribute. We're expecting a big 2025, so join in on the ride, because it's going to be a lot of fun. Yep, we're hopeful. So we could use your support. And when it's all...
Stop bugging me about decorating for Christmas. Damn it. I'm a grown-up. If I want to do it, I'm going to do it. Leave me alone.
Done, you're going to be happy you were along the Go Live Vegas ride, and we're going to be happy that you joined at the right time, because we feel this is the right time. But again, it's November. Christmas is approaching. Give Raquel a break as I spill my coffee. I almost made it out without spilling the coffee. Luckily, I almost killed the whole thing. Raquel made a good one. Now's a perfect opportunity to go over.
Make another one.
Now's a perfect opportunity to go over to Risque Lattes. EJ and Andrea can use your business. They've already done good business tonight. They're cranking out some good brew. Go check it out. And if you want another type of brew, you can come down here as well. Again, it's all going down at the Arts District. Come check it out. Go Live Vegas coverage continues.
We're still here for a little while.
Live, we are.
I don't even know what time it is right now.
And that's part of the fun, because we're just going to continue to roll along. In Vegas, you don't really plan for a night to end. You just kind of plan for the sun to come up. And if we do that, so be it. So stick around. Plenty more to come here from First Friday. For Brett Lawson, for Raquel Elkis, and everyone else, we thank you and appreciate your support.
Okay. And this is where the camera would stop.
Yes.
But it's not.
Because we're
live.
Because we're still live, and
I don't know where the
doing,
DJ is, but we're technically not on the air anymore. So
yes.
Where is our DJ?
Yes.
Aaron?
Can we plug this into a PA system?
Oh, there she is.
Jen Siren.
There
She's
she is.
returned.
She left us.
She had a refresh.
This is where we do the bloopers and everything, where we just sort of,
We could
you
do
know.
that.
Every time
Well,
I
how
go
about
over,
how
it's like,
about
you guys still doing
how
it?
about we
Why
take a
not?
break and then we could go back to that if she wants to play a little bit more.
We'll be back with the statement.
Is it live?
Yeah.
Oh, we're still. Oh my God! So there you go. So you got the plug, you got the promo without even being on air. So there
Right,
you go.
congratulations.
That's what you call a tease.
Insert commercial
yes,
here.
That's what you call a tease, and we're technically not even supposed to be on the air right now. We'll be back in a few minutes.
This is where we put
have
product placement that I don't have,
Yes.
but
generic hot cocoa cups.
well, yeah, I had to.
We still have plenty more to
Right.
come. We still have more DJ Jen Siren. So stick around. Our fun here continues down at the Arts District. It's Go Live Vegas' coverage of First Friday. Stay tuned.